Story number 1. I started working at my current summer part-time job last spring. I'm situated in a large old building that used to be a country club, but fell into disrepair about 10 years ago. Although there's nothing paranormal about my story, it is maybe worth mentioning that the former manager committed suicide in the main office upstairs when they went out of business. It adds to the unsettling quality of this place. Along with that, so do the seemingly never-ending hallways and passages, innumerable hidey holes and half-empty pools, and other strange unused parts of the building, like a secret shower room, sauna, and a tunnel of storage areas that connect the men's and women's bathrooms. There are also a lot of doors to the outside in this place. It makes sense for a country club, but currently, we can only use one small room for the golf course check-in, the kitchen and one dining room for the restaurant upstairs, and the small cafe area for early morning golfers to get their coffee and beer. The cafe area is where I work. In the summer, we clock in to open the cafe around 6 a.m., often before the sun comes up. The golf course people come in pretty shortly after, but I would be the first person in the building every morning. I would unlock the front door, disarm the alarm, walk downstairs in the dark, unlock this cage that keeps the drunkies at the bar upstairs at night from wandering downstairs, and crawl along a long, dark hallway with no windows to get to the light switch at the end of the hall. This always creeps me out, and I end up holding my keys between my fingers like brass knuckles. I am a woman in my mid-20s, and I've lived in plenty of bad neighborhoods. By the time I get to the end of the hall and flip the light on, my heart is always pounding out of my chest as I struggle to find the right key to let me into the cafe. The whole situation started when Tim, a golf course employee, mentioned that he kept shutting the door between the men's locker room bathroom and the storage area that leads to the women's, and every time he would go back in there, it would be open again. This, along with some strange noises, was fodder for the bar regulars upstairs to claim this place was haunted by the old manager and whomever else they said died within these halls. Travis, a co-worker in the cafe, also mentioned that a few minutes after he opened, he went into the men's locker room and noticed that it was steamy and smelled like soap. So he went into the shower room to investigate, and everything was sopping wet and still hot. He was the only person who was supposed to be there at that time of day, but didn't see anyone, so he let it go. A couple months later, Tim noticed this weird side door that you had to climb up a rickety old staircase on the side of the building, and it wasn't shutting correctly. He fixed it and locked it correctly, didn't think anything more of it. Shortly after, someone from the golf course came over to tell me that they found someone's entire life packed away in one of their hundreds of lockers that no one uses, and they thought someone was living in the storage room between the men's and women's bathrooms. He must have been coming in before the golf course people set the alarms when they left in the evenings, and leaving after the cafe person, i.e. me, would come in and turn off the alarm in the morning. So, that means that every morning, as I blindly shuffled my way down that long, dark hallway alone, one of those pitch-black doorways actually did have someone hiding behind it. A few days later, a red-faced, angry, bald man in Vietnam-era Army-issue glasses came into the cafe and started screaming, puffing, and flailing his arms around, yelling about his stuff getting thrown out. He went over and berated the golf course people too, so they asked him about the contents of his locker. His answers about specific items let them realize this was a man who was secretly living in one of those buildings' many dark passageways. I never found out much about him, whether he was dangerous or just homeless, but watching him scream about the stuff made it clear that he wasn't 100% rational. I still work there and do a darkness shuffle down the hall every morning when I work, and although they say everything is on the up and up with the alarms and the doors locking, it still creeps me the hell out. There have been some other creepy things that have happened in this place recently to make me think this isn't all over with, which I will post separately if anyone is interested. Story number 2. I'm a small female living alone in a large city. Knowing exactly what this could mean for me, I'm pretty wary of my surroundings and the people in it. I recently moved to the back of an apartment complex, to the 3rd floor, which I was very excited about, since I hate being on ground level. A few days after moving in, I met my across-the-way neighbor Steve. Steve was tall and skinny with dark hair and the tryings of a beard. He was nice, polite in our few passings, but we never had more than an exchange of a few hellos, until one Saturday night. My friend dropped me off at my place late that night, and I stumbled up the stairs, stupid drunk. I knew I was making a racket because Steve opened his door as I approached mine. I waved at him and smiled as I fumbled for my keys. I was facing my door, trying to remember which key it was, as they all looked the same, and I felt Steve come up behind me. He grabbed my hand with the keys and breathed, "Let me help," and immediately found the correct key and helped me put it in the keyhole. It could have been romantic looking back, if this guy hadn't proceeded to stick his nose into my hair, take a deep, shaky breath. The red alarms immediately started going off in my head and cut through my drunken stupor. My breath was frozen in my throat, and I just realized how fucked I could possibly be. "Thanks," I mumbled before slipping through my door and locking it behind me. I stood there for a moment going, "What the fuck?" when I heard a soft thump on the other side of the door. I slowly turned and looked through the peephole, but I couldn't see anything, only blackness, which didn't make any sense because there was a light outside, which kept the staircase lit. I blinked and stepped back before checking again. This time I saw Steve backing away from the peephole. My body felt like it was dunked in an ice water. Steve went back into his apartment, and I didn't hear anything else that night. For a few weeks after that, I would only hear the same soft thump and find Steve trying to peer into my apartment from the peephole. I could hear his heavy breathing. Sometimes he would even paw at the door, but he never came out when I would come home after that first time. I never called the cops. I probably should have, but Steve was my neighbor, and I didn't want to stir up any animosity that I would have to deal with. Steve moved out 2 weeks ago. Story number 3. Just recently started browsing this sub. First time poster, but here's some background. I posted onto r/Lakers, which is a sub dedicated to the Los Angeles Lakers of the National Basketball Association. In my post, I asked if there was a minimum age to enter the arena where the game takes place without a parent or guardian, because I was going with myself and my girlfriend. We were 15. Anyway, on to the story. In my inbox, I got answers to my question, but it was then when I noticed I got a PM, not a reply. It went as follows. "Hey, what row are you in? Maybe I can help you out with a better experience. Signed, Reddit user." 200s, I replied, as I was interested but didn't want to just give myself away to this random Reddit user. "Oh, that's pretty good. Let me know if you want to come with me to a suite." This is where a gigantic red flag went off for me. This guy was going to invite 2 15-year-olds to his own personal suite? This is exactly what people will warn you about. I didn't reply to the guy and just forgot about the message. My girlfriend and I arrived to the game, and I was ready to have a good time and did. After the game, I left through the arena store, which leads out to the street. I had my girlfriend by my side with my arm wrapped around her when I hear behind me, "Conversion 3? My heart sank as I was immediately reminded of the guy who PM'd me. Not knowing what to do, I kept acting as if I didn't know what he said. That's when I felt a tap on my shoulder, forcing me to turn around. "Are you Conversion 3 on Reddit?" the creep asked. "No," I said, trying to sound as calm as possible. "I don't use Reddit, bro. Sorry," I said as I lied through my teeth. "Okay, well, sorry," he responded. Now this gave me a horrible feeling, as I thought the guy had to have been following and watching us, if he asked me in particular. I assume our looks gave us away, as I don't look older than I do because of my lack of facial hair, but it still sent chills down my spine, thinking about how long that guy could have been watching us. But still it sent chills down my spine, thinking about how long that guy could have been watching us. I still have the guy's username if I can do anything about it, but I don't know what I should and could do. Thank you for watching, guys. If you enjoyed the video, please leave a like, be sure to comment, subscribe if you haven't already, and share as much as possible. Make sure you send your true scary stories to my email, which is in the description box below. And in the comment section, be sure to let me know what themes for videos you would like to see in the upcoming future. Until we meet again, stay sinful.